Okay. It is now
Okay,
recording. So
okay.
you
So,
uh,
okay,
better
I think
use.
it is fine.
Hmm. You start
So
with the
after home
you
page, okay. So go to the
home.
side home and you scroll it down under course categories. You click on computer science. For other courses, you have to accordingly choose the particular department. The course being offered by which department, you have to understand that, and accordingly you have to click on that. For this particular course, you have to click computer science. Now there you may find different sessions under this computer science department or any other department, which one you will go. Now your session is basically 2021-22 odd UG, this one, because this session is lagging basically. This session, you are in the first semester of 2021-22 session. So you have an undergraduate. So there will be two. You just see there will be a PG and UG. So you have to click on this 2021-22 odd UG. This type of name you have to remember. Now you click on that. There you will find all possible semesters. Now since this course is in semester 1, you click on the semester 1 and you will find the courses offered by computer science in semester 1 for this particular session listed there. Since there is only one course which has been created so far, that is the course which we are teaching. This is CSC 01 Introduction to Computing for section I students. And you can easily see the teacher are Joydeep Hawladar and Devashish Smith. Now you click on this link, the course web page link. Okay. Now you will find that there is nothing. I mean, it will ask you to enroll yourself. Unless you enroll yourself, you cannot of the course web page. Okay. So we have arranged in such a manner that if you are a bona fide student of this institute of section I and you have created your account in Moodle, just click on this enroll me option. Okay. You click on that, you will automatically be enrolled for this particular course. For other courses, you may need to repeat this system, and there are different enrollment methods. So that particular instructor who is teaching that particular subject will let you know what type of enrollment method they are using. We are using the simplest possible method so that just by one click you can enroll into the system. Okay. Now, once you enroll, you will be able to visit this page. This is the course web page. This is under construction. It will the things will get populated over the time. So far, it has some announcements, and we have already created some blank section like course introduction, basic framework for programming, introduction to programming. See, these are the sections or different topics which will populate as and when required. So Joydeep sir already has sent you the materials under course introduction. We will re-upload those things here under this tab also. Okay. Then whatever Joydeep sir is currently teaching, the basic framework for programming, those lecture materials, video lectures, everything will be uploaded under this tab. Okay. And next, the other things will be uploaded in the different section, in the relevant section. Okay. And there will be three interesting tabs at the end, like continuous assessment 1, continuous assessment 2, and end term examination. So the examination related content will be uploaded here and the instructions, and we'll let you know when we'll take continuous assessment 1, how to participate in that. Okay. And then what the quizzes or assignment that will be put under this assessment, quizzes or assignment that will be put under this will accordingly will instruct you how to do that. But these are the tabs under which those contents will be available in the stipulated time. Okay. And the lab courses, I mean, there is a lab session apart from this theoretical introduction to computing class, that is the computing lab. I think that is scheduled on every Wednesday from 3 p.m. So all the assignments which we will be posting which you have to submit, that will be taken under this tab. Okay, so this course page will take care for both theory and lab courses related to this particular subject. Okay, understood? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so after populating, I mean, you should, after every day's class, you should visit this particular course web page to get access to the study materials and other relevant stuffs. Okay, and if you find any difficulty in accessing that, you should get in touch with us. But one important thing I must mention, that all of you should create the account in Moodle using your institute mail ID as early as possible. Okay, otherwise you will not be able to participate. Not only you can manage getting lecture materials from your friends, but the problem is, without a valid account in this module and without the enrollment in this course, you won't be able to participate in the assessment process. So you lose marks. Okay, so before continuous assessment 1 starts, all of you should have valid account in Moodle and all of you should enroll for this particular course. And one thing you should remember, that after creating your account, you should update your profile by adding your roll number, because while you are opening your account for the first time, the roll number is not mandatory. But as described in the tutorial we have sent earlier, you know how to add your roll number, because your roll number is the sole identity. Without your roll number, it will be very difficult for us to track and keep the record for all the assessments for you. Okay, so all of just after opening or creating your account and enrolling in the Moodle platform, you should update your roll number in the profile section. That is very important. Okay, so that's all from my side. I'm stopping here and I will request Joydeep sir to continue. No,
Okay.
recording. See, we will upload the recorded lectures in MP4 format in the Moodle course page itself. See, we are not using Microsoft Teams. Okay, we are not using Microsoft Teams. We are using Google Meet or online lectures, and for all archival and evaluation process, we are using Moodle platform. So recorded lectures will be uploaded in this course web page. From here, there you can click and you can view or download the lectures also. We will upload lectures. Okay, that's all.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Jaideep, you may now start.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh. So in our last class, we have discussed that how, what are the basic requirement for executing a code. So first we have to write a source code like C programming language. Then we have to compile the source code in an object or executable format, and then this executable is taken care by the computer, and it executes the program, and finally we get the output. So now I'll show you that what are the steps, or how can I write my first program, and how we compile the program and how we execute the program. Okay, so in that way we take a platform which is called the DevC++. So this DevC++ is freely available. You can download these things, and during our course we will basically refer this platform. Okay, and now let us take an example and try to understand that how we have to encode our problem into a program or into a programming language. Okay, So let our we have a problem, and this problem is stated in this way that we have to find the average, or we have to compute the average of three numbers. Okay, so getting inside of this problem, what are the main main things that we have to understand? That thing is that there are three numbers, that is one of the part, and there is a computation which is called the average. Okay, and now say we don't have a direct computation for an average, like we don't have a function, or we don't have an operator which computes the average of three numbers. Okay, rather we have other operations, and if we sequence the operations in such a way that I can find the average of three numbers. Okay, so the other operations are addition operations and the division operation. Okay, so we understand that if we have the two tools, like just take an example, you have a calculator and you are given to compute the average of three numbers. So your calculator does not have any key for computing the average. Rather, what it has sum operation, it has a division operation, and now you have to organize, or you have to sequence the data and the operation in such a way that your final output will be the average of three numbers. Understand? And that is basically the program. Means what we are doing with ourselves, we have to instruct the same steps of works to the computer, and on behalf of us, computer will perform our task. Clear? So now objective is very clear. So when why we are using the computer? So this is very well known, because computers are fast. Computers can process a huge amount of computation in a small amount of time, which human cannot do. Okay? So in this example is not suitable. Means I can do the average of three numbers in a second, but when the problem is huge, then I cannot perform in a second. So we are using the computer. But the thing is that how I am thinking, means how I am thinking to get the solution, I have to instruct the computer in the same way, such that computers on behalf of me, computer will perform my task. Okay? And my task is to find the sum of the three numbers, get the result, or get the summation of the three numbers. Then we perform a division by three. Okay? And this is basically the steps. So we use three variables. Why we are using three big variables? Because the statement does not say that I have to compute the average of say 10, 5, or 7. It does not say that things. It says that I have to compute the average of three numbers, and these three numbers is not the constant. It is not the constant like 5, 6, or 7, or 5, 10, 12. It is basically a variable. Okay? It may take different values at different times. Okay? So we are assigning some names to the data. So A, B, C are the names to the data, and these names are called the variables, and variables will take different value at different time. Okay. Then this is the first step. I have to define three variables. So depending on our problem, we have to define different types of variables. We'll take another example and we'll see how that can also be done. Okay. Then this number 2 and number 3 is basically the steps that we have to perform, because I don't have an operation for the average, so I am doing the summation. So I am doing there is another variable x, okay, and x is now accumulating the values of A, B, and C. Okay, so this is basically the operation, the add operation. Okay, and then this one is called the assignment operation. Okay. So the thing is that when we have an assignment, that means there is a value which has to be assigned to a variable. Okay. So the right hand side is the result of a computation. It may be summation, it may be multiplication, but it does not says that A plus B plus C is equals to X. Rather, it says that the value of a plus b plus c is assigned to the variable x. Understand? So keep in mind that this statement is a statement which is basically not a equals to, but it is a assignment statement. The assignment statement means that the right hand side is a value which has to be assigned to a variable at the left hand side. Clear? So I will get the sum of the variables a, b, and c, and that value is now available in another variable x. Clear? So as the value of a changes, the value of x also changes. Clear? And the third is basically a division operation. So what we are doing, we are dividing the value x with a constant 3, and the result is again assigns to another variable average. Okay, so these are the 3 steps. The first step is to declare the variables. The second step is to compute the sum of the variables, and the third step is to find the average by dividing 3. Okay? And in between there is an assignment, there is an initialization statement that will take care later. Okay? So now the thing is that how I will program these things. The programming is something like this. So this is our understanding how we are solving the problem. Clear? The programming is that I will show you 2 approaches how we are mapping my understanding into a problem state, into a programming statements or programming sequence. Okay? So the first operation what we have to do is basically there should be a variable x, and it takes a plus b plus c. Okay? So I'm using some syntax. We will discuss this syntax later on. So that's after doing these things, what we have to do, we have to find average, which is x by 3. Okay? So this is enough for finding the average. Okay? But when we have to execute this program, then what is the requirement? The execution requires some values. Means executions will not operate on a plus b plus c unless a and b and c are not defined with some values. Okay? So the program is the abstraction of the computation, but when we execute the abstraction, we must have some values with the variables. Okay? So there is an initialization. Then we come to the initialization part. So there are 2 ways to initialize. First, we take that we have initialized these things with some constant values. Say a equals to 10, b equals to 20, and c equals to say 30. Okay? So now computer will first computer will read that there is a variable whose value is assigned to the value of 10. There is another variable. The variable is assigned with a value of 20. Variable c, which is assigned to the value of 30. Then I have to do the sum of ABC. The result will be assigned to the variable x, and in this way, the sequence of operation will continue. Okay, but so this is the first mapping. This is the second, and then what are the another things are important? The another thing is that when we declare the variables, so these are called the variables. Okay, then these variables are assigned or must have some types. So what do we mean by the type? The type is, in a nutshell or in very brief, we say that type is basically the characteristics of a variable. Like for the simplest example is that a type may be an integer. So I am considering that a, b, and c, they are the integer type of variables. Okay? So they would always take the integer values, means the whole values. Like it will not take as a value of say 20.5. It will always take the value as 20. Okay, understand? So there is an initialization. So so there is a declaration of the variable. So we called int A, B, and C. Okay. So what is the meaning of these things? So this is called the declaration. Declarations of the variables. Okay. So I have three variables which is named as A, B, and C, and they are having a particular type which is called integer. We'll learn more about of the type, but for the beginners or for the first step, you just understand that a type is basically characteristics or property of the variables. It will have a particular value. Okay? It will not take some value of say character. It will A cannot be a say alphabet capital A. Okay, so this is not possible because I have already declared the things as an integer. Okay. Similarly, there is an X. So how many variables are there? We have to declare all that variables int as X, and then say average is also average ABG is also an integer. Okay. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 variables in my program. I have to declare the variables and their types at the beginning. Then I have to initialize the values. Then I have to go for the computations. Okay. So this is just the structure. So this structure, or this is just how we map the problem into a code. Understand? So the solution of the problem lies only here. Okay. Say the solution of the problem lies only in this part. Okay. So these are the requirements for the programs. The programs demands that what are the types, what are the initial values, and then what are the computations. So these are the real computations. This is the initialization. And this is the declaration. Okay. And this is a set of statements or set of lines. If we encode these things, then your program will execute. Apart from that, we have to do something more, which is called a block. So now we just take it into the programming language environment. So this is basically the Dev C++ editor, and what we have done is up to this point. Okay. So I declare the variables instead of X. I have a sum here. So I have declared ABC as the integer, sum as the integer, average is also an integer. Then I initialize the value with 10, 20, and 30. I compute the sum as ABC, and then I divide these things by 3, get the average. Sorry, this is sum and ABC. Okay. So what are the other things in this program? The first thing is that when I am writing a program, then the program always have a block. So this block is basically an encapsulations which starts with a function name. Say integer. At this point, you just try to make these things as a you just remember these things, or you just without anything, so you just copy these things. That there is a block. This block is starting with a curly bracket and then closing curly bracket. And within this block, you have to write or encode your program. Okay? And every block is having a particular name. So in this case, the name of this block is the function main. So main, we call these things as a main block. So we call these things main block. Okay? So the C program must have a main block, and the executions of the program always starts with the main block. Okay. So without understanding more of these things, we just try to remember that there should be a main block. The main block looks something like this: int main, then opening bracket, closing bracket, and then the curly bracket starts. This curly bracket, the starting of a curly bracket and its corresponding ending says that this is the block, and this block contains some code. Understand? And then finally, what is this statement? The print. Within this printf, we have the average is %d, something written in this. So this is basically the output. So I want to output the result average on the console. Console means the monitor. So how do we output these things in the monitor? And for these things, we have a particular function which is called the main printf function. The printf function basically outputs your variable into the console. Yeah. And then printf statement looks something like this. The average is %d. Then within comma we have avg. Okay. And finally we have a return set. So let us first try to execute this program and try to see how the program works. Okay. So I save these things. Let me do another tree. And we save the things with say avg.c. Yeah. So .c is the extension, and we have the name at average.c. Okay. And then there is a tool, and within this tool we have so there is a execution is a drop down button, and within the drop down button we have a compile and run, or there is a compile and run. So if we click on the compile and run, then the program will be compiled. At the same time, the object code is also executed. If we click on compile, the program will be compiled, and if there are errors, it will display the errors on your editor. Otherwise, it successfully compiles. So let's first do the compilation. So it says that your program is successfully compiled, and if we execute the run, then it runs the program and says that the average is 20. Understand? So what is that? 30, 50, 60 by 3. Yes, the average is 20. Understand? So what is the statement it is printing? If you are able to see, the statement it prints is the average is 20. Okay? And this statement comes from the from inside of this print. So inside of this print, we have written that the average is %d, and then within comma we write the average avg. Okay? The meaning is that this %d is basically a specifier. The specifier means that it will replace when the console prints the statement which is under quote. Then if there is some %d, then it will replace the value. Yeah. By whom? It will replace the value with the argument. So in this case, my argument is avg. So the %d will be replaced by the value of avg, which is computed in the SQL. Understand? So let me just change this statement. Say I change these things. The average of %d, say %d is something like this. And then I also change the arguments a, b, c, something like this. Okay. Now if we execute this program, let me compile and then run. So now we'll find the statement is changed. This statement is changed. It says that the average of 10, 20, 30 is 20. Okay. So the meaning is that what I am putting into the console, or what I am putting into the display, is basically what parameters we are passing to the printf function. Okay? The parameters that we passing to the printf function is basically a statement or a particular sentence, and within this sentence there are some specifiers. So every %d is basically the specifiers, and these specifiers takes the argument values of the argument, which is followed into the by the undercode statement. Okay, so try to remember these things. Try to just recall how I am writing the printf function. We'll get more details of the printf functions or more details in the functions, etc. But when I am starting the programming language, or our first step to the programming language, you must have some things, some assumptions. You must have to do some things without understanding the details of that things. And the first things that we have to do is basically I have to write a main block. I have to use a printf function, and I have to write a curly bracket opening, curly bracket 2, which defines a particular block. Understand? And then at the top of these things there is a another statement which is called the header file. So hash include stdioh, that means standard input output header file, that we have to also include. Okay? So every programming structure, it at the top of these things we have a header file. Okay? Then we have a start of a block. Most of the case, the start of the block is the main block. Then within this main block, I have to declare some variables. I have to initialize the variables. I have to do some computations, and I have to output the results on my console. And finally, we return from this block. So there is a return 0, which is important to write. Okay? Understand? So this is if you go into my problem,